This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
1805, the pivotal year. In 1805, William Henry Harrison truly came into his own as Indiana's chief executive and the U.S. Indian Commissioner. Indiana's sudden advance to the second grade of government, combined with President Jefferson's indifference to territorial politics, left Harrison with a rubber-stamp legislature and essentially no organized opposition. Jefferson's reappointments of Harrison and the private instructions, as discussed in Chapter 3, had given him unprecedented power to conduct Indian councils as he saw fit. Harrison, now fully confident in his support at both the local and national levels of government, imposed his will on the issues of slavery and Indian affairs. In the short term, at least, his actions were successful. The Ordinance of 1787 had promised both that Indians north of the Ohio would be treated justly and that the territory would be worked by free men, not slaves. The ordinance had already taken a beating on both counts. By 1805, Governor Harrison and his like-minded legislature were ready to abuse it further still. Although the issue of Louisiana's ownership, as far as Americans were concerned, had long been determined, 1805 saw yet another round of Indian land cession treaties negotiated with increasing forcefulness by the governor. As Thomas Jefferson's Indian policy was incomparably illustrated in his February 27, 1803 letter to Governor Harrison, so Harrison's efforts in 1805 were exemplified by his August 26 letter to the Secretary of War. Regarding Chief Little Turtle of the Miamis, the governor wrote Dearborn that, "In pursuance of the President's directions, I have promised the Turtle $50 per annum in addition to his pension, and I have also directed Captain Wells to purchase a Negro man for him in Kentucky and draw on you for the amount." The story of how the governor came to write such a letter encapsulates the problem of Jeffersonian Indian affairs and of a territorial executive working unchecked. The letter illustrated Harrison's adoption of a cynically pragmatic attitude toward public life. He resorted to bribing Little Turtle with cash and a slave because he needed the chief's help in pushing through an additional treaty with his Indian neighbors. In such a policy, Harrison had more than tacit approval for his actions. He was actually following orders. In 1804, Secretary of War Dearborn had stated that pecuniary advances, that is, bribes, were acceptable means for securing cessions, formalizing a tactic that had already seen considerable use. President Jefferson had in fact authorized a bribe, a liberality, he called it, for Little Turtle, to secure his compliance. The fact that Little Turtle's bribe was part cash and part man was apparently an agreement he reached with the governor. Jefferson had not specified what gift the chief should receive. The choice of a slave also demonstrates the reaction of Governor Harrison and the pro-slavery faction to Congress's reluctance to legalize slavery in Indiana. Tired of wading through the proper channels, they had taken matters into their own hands, drafting and passing an act concerning the introduction of Negroes and mulattoes into this territory. This law stated that it was now legal to bring bondsmen from slave states into Indiana and convert them to indentured servants. The law put no limit on the length of indenture, and the children of these servants would inherit their parents' status for a term of years as well. Governor Harrison signed the act the same day he wrote Secretary Dearborn about his bribe for Little Turtle. Unlike many other laws he signed, this one was to take effect immediately.